In today's video, we're going to look at something really helpful. 50 common English phrases that you can use in your everyday life. These are the kinds of expressions that native speakers use all the time. They're short, easy to remember, and very useful. Once you learn them, you'll sound more natural and speak with more confidence. This won't just help your speaking and listening, but also make it easier for you to express yourself in many different situations. Whether you're chatting with a friend, asking someone for help, ordering at a restaurant, or just having a casual talk, these phrases will be super helpful every single day. We'll use real conversations as examples, so you can see how people really use these phrases and try them yourself. By the time you finish this video, you'll be able to understand and use these phrases comfortably when you speak English. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you get all our daily English lessons. Now, grab a notebook and a pen. Let's get started. Let's begin with how people greet each other. Instead of only saying hi, you can say things like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or, "What's up?" These are friendly and relaxed greetings. For example, if you see your friend at the supermarket, you can say, "Hey, how's it going?" And they might answer, "Not too bad, just getting a few things." That sounds more natural than just saying hello. Another phrase that's really common is "long time no see." You use this when you meet someone you haven't seen for a while. You could say, "Hey, long time no see. How have you been?" Practice saying it like this. Imagine you meet an old classmate. You say, "Hey, long time no see." And they answer, "Yeah, it's been a while. I've just been busy with work." Now let's talk about asking how someone is doing. Besides the usual, "How are you?" you can also say things like, "How's everything?" or "How are things going?" These are more relaxed and friendly. For example, you can ask, "How's everything going at your new job?" or "How are things with your family?" Try asking these kinds of questions with different topics to get used to them. Think of a friend who just started a new job and ask out loud, "How's everything going with your new job?" Then imagine their answer, "It's going great, thanks." When you want to agree with someone, there are natural ways to say it. Instead of only saying "yes," you can say "exactly" or "that's so true." For instance, if someone says learning English takes time, you can answer, "Exactly, it's a step-by-step process." Or if someone says, "It's been super hot lately," you can say, "That's so true. I've had the fan on all day." Let's practice with a simple opinion like, "Weekends are too short." Then reply, "Totally." They go by so fast. If you're surprised or interested in something someone says, try using phrases like "no way" or "you're joking." For example, if someone says, "I just won a prize," you can reply, "No way, that's amazing." These expressions make your conversations more fun and real. Practice reacting like this. If someone says, "I saw a famous actor at the coffee shop," you say, "You're kidding. Who was it?" When you want to ask for help or a favor, try saying, "Can you help me out?" Or, "Would you mind giving me a hand?" These sound much nicer than just saying, "Help me." You could say, "Can you help me with this email?" Or, "Would you mind driving me to the store?" Practice this one. Imagine you need to move something heavy. Say, "Would you mind helping me carry this box?" Then imagine someone replies, "Sure, no problem." If you want to offer help to someone, you can say, "Do you want some help?" Or, "Just let me know if you need anything." These show that you care and want to support the person. For example, if your friend is cleaning up, you can say, "Do you want some help with that?" Or if they look worried, you can say, "Let me know if there's anything I can do." Practice this by thinking of someone carrying a lot of bags. Say, "Do you want a hand with those?" When making plans, a phrase like, "I'm up for that," means you like the idea. For example, if someone says, "Let's go to the movies," you can say, "I'm up for that." Another way to say yes to a plan is "sounds good." So if someone says, "Let's meet at 6," you can say, "Sounds good." Practice like this. If someone says, "Want to get lunch later?" you say, "Sounds good. I'll let you know when I'm free." Now let's look at how to end a conversation in a nice way. Instead of just saying goodbye, you can say, "I'll talk to you soon," or "I'll see you later." These make the conversation feel friendly. For example, after talking with someone, you can say, "It was really nice talking to you. Talk to you soon." Practice this by thinking of your last conversation and saying, "Take care. Talk to you later." Sometimes people add little phrases like, "You know what I mean," or "Right," at the end of a sentence. These help keep the other person involved in the conversation. For example, you can say, "It's hard to concentrate when there's so much noise. You know what I mean?" Or, "That movie was kind of boring, right?" Try this. Say, "This weather makes me sleepy." Then add, "You know what I mean?" Let's pause for a quick practice. Imagine you run into a friend you haven't seen in a long time. You say, "Hey, long time no see. How's everything going?" They say, "Not bad, just working a lot." You nod and say, "Same here. Work's been crazy, totally draining. You know what I mean?" Your friend laughs and says, "Exactly. We all need a break." You both smile and say, "Let's catch up again soon." Then you say, "Talk to you later." Now let's look at how to express feelings or give your opinion in a natural way. If something makes you happy, you can say, "I'm so happy to hear that," or "That's awesome." For example, if your friend says they got a new job, don't just say "good." Try saying, "That's great. I'm so happy for you. Practice with other good news. If someone says, I passed the test, you can say, that's amazing. I knew you could do it. If someone tells you something sad, you can say things like, that's too bad, or I'm sorry to hear that. For example, if they say, my dog is sick, you can reply, I'm really sorry. I hope your dog gets better soon. Or if they say, I didn't get the job I wanted, you could say, that's tough, but don't give up. Something better is coming. Try practicing by saying, I'm sorry to hear that, and follow it with something kind. Sometimes you want to show that you understand how someone feels. You can say, I get it, or I know what you mean. For example, if your friend says, I've been really stressed lately, you can say, yeah, I get it. Things have been stressful for me too. Practice this by using a sentence like, I can't focus when it's noisy, and reply, I know what you mean. It's really hard to think clearly with all the noise. And if you don't understand what someone said, don't be afraid to ask. You can say, could you say that again? Or, what do you mean by that? For example, if someone talks too fast, say, sorry, can you repeat that? Or if they use a word you don't know, say, I'm not sure what that means. Can you explain it another way? These questions help you stay in the conversation and understand better. Keep practicing these kinds of phrases every day, and you'll start to speak more naturally and confidently in English. Chapter 2. So just like we practiced before, you can try saying something like, sorry, could you say that again? And then imagine the person repeating what they said, only more clearly this time. That kind of practice really helps when you're in real conversations. Also, in everyday English, people often use small words or phrases to give themselves time to think. Phrases like, let me think, or, well, you know, are really common. For example, if someone asks, what's your favorite movie? You might say, let me think. Probably something funny, like a comedy. Or if you don't know the answer right away, you could say, I'm not really sure, but I'll check and let you know. These little phrases make your speech feel more natural. Try saying things like, well, I guess I'd say yes, or let me see, that might work. They're helpful when you need a second to gather your thoughts. Now, when you want to make a suggestion, you can say something like, how about, or why don't we? These are friendly ways to offer an idea. Let's say you and a friend are trying to decide what to do. You might say, how about we go for a walk? Or maybe, why don't we try that new cafe? These are more polite and relaxed than just saying, let's go there. Try using it in a sentence. How about watching something funny tonight? And imagine your friend replies, that sounds perfect. Sometimes when you're talking, you might want to switch topics smoothly. You don't want it to sound sudden or awkward. A good way to do this is by saying, by the way, or speaking of that. For example, by the way, did you hear about the new store opening? Or, speaking of movies, have you seen the latest one with that famous actor? These help you move to a new subject without making it sound strange. Try this. Imagine you're talking about lunch, then say, by the way, how's your brother doing? When you don't agree with someone, it's important to stay polite. Instead of saying, that's wrong, you can say something like, I see your point, but, or, I'm not sure I agree with that. For example, if someone says, online learning is always better, you can reply, I get where you're coming from, but I think it depends on the person. This kind of polite disagreement helps you sound respectful. Practice saying, I see your point, but I'd look at it a little differently. When something surprising or crazy happens, people often say things like, that's crazy, or I can't believe it. If a friend tells you a wild story, you can say, no way, that's insane. For example, they say, I saw a bear near the lake, and you reply, you're kidding, that's crazy. Try saying it out loud. It helps you sound more interested and excited. Imagine someone says, I travelled to 5 countries last year, and you respond, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. Sometimes your friend might feel embarrassed or make a mistake. In those moments, it's nice to reassure them with phrases like, don't worry about it, or it's not a big deal. For example, if someone spills coffee and says sorry, you can say, don't worry about it, it happens. Try this. Imagine someone says, I forgot to call you back. You say, no problem at all. I know you're busy. These little phrases can really make someone feel better. Let's go over a small conversation using the phrases we've talked about so far. You meet a friend at a cafe and say, hey, what's up? They answer, not much, just needed a break. You say, yeah, I get it. Work's been really stressful lately. You know what I mean? Your friend nods and says, exactly. I've been looking for something fun to do. You suggest, how about we go to that new art exhibit this weekend? They reply, sounds good, let's do it. Then you say, cool. I'll text you the details later. Talk to you soon. Try changing that conversation a little and make it your own. Instead of an art exhibit, maybe say something like going to the park or grabbing ice cream. The point is to keep using the phrases in new ways. The more you use them in real or pretend situations, the more natural your English will sound. Now, let's do a short speaking practice. I'll say the situation, and you say a phrase in response. Ready? Your friend says they got a promotion. Say, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You didn't catch what someone said. Say, sorry, could you say that again? A friend wants to go out tonight. Say, sounds good. What time should we meet? You need a little help with something. Say, Would you mind helping me with this report? Your friend says they're feeling sad. Say, I get it. I've been there too. Practicing like this every day, even if you're talking to yourself, really builds confidence. The more you repeat the phrases, the more automatic they become. Speak out loud when you're alone. Try them in front of a mirror, or use them with someone you know. Pretty soon, these phrases will be part of your normal speech. Let's keep going with more phrases that are helpful when you're giving your opinion or talking about your feelings. You can say things like, to be honest, or honestly speaking. These make you sound sincere. For example, someone asks, did you like the movie? You say, to be honest, it wasn't my favorite. Or if the food wasn't great, you might say, honestly speaking, it was a bit bland. Try this one. Imagine your friend asks if you liked their cooking. You could say, to be honest, it was okay, but I think it needed a bit more salt. When you're talking about your plans or what you're thinking about doing, you can use phrases like, I'm planning to, or I'm thinking of. For example, I'm planning to start exercising more this month, or I'm thinking of traveling next summer. You can also say, I'm thinking of learning a new language, or I'm planning to watch that new series everyone's been talking about. These are simple, useful ways to talk about the future. You can also offer to help someone using polite phrases like, do you want me to? Or, would you like me to? For instance, do you want me to carry that for you? Or, would you like me to help with the cleaning? When asking for help, you can say, could you please? Or, would it be okay if, like, could you please send me the report by noon? Or, would it be okay if I borrowed your book? Practice these by saying, do you want me to carry the bags? And, could you please show me how to use this app? If you want to give someone advice, use simple and kind phrases like, you should. Or, if I were you, I'd. So if your friend is tired, you might say, you should take a break. Or, if they don't know what to do, you can say, if I were you, I'd talk to someone first. Try it now. You should try that new restaurant. It's great. Or, if I were you, I'd call her and explain everything. When someone says something you agree with, say, that's true, or I agree, or just exactly. For example, it's important to get enough sleep, and you say, that's true. Sleep affects everything. Or, learning English takes time, and you say, exactly. It's all about practice. You can also say, yeah, I agree, or that's exactly how I feel too. If you don't fully agree, you can still keep it polite. Try saying, I'm not so sure about that, or that might be true, but, for example, someone says, everyone should wake up early, and you say, that might be true, but not everyone is a morning person. Try this. Someone says, fast food is the best. You say, I get why you like it, but I prefer home-cooked meals. And just like in chapter 1, we'll end with a few phrases that are really common in everyday speaking. Phrases like, you know what I mean, or kind of, or sort of, help you sound casual and real. You might say, it was fun, but kinda tiring. Or, it's like, when everything just goes wrong. These little expressions are all around you when you listen to native speakers. And the more you use them, the more fluent and confident you'll sound. Keep practicing, and you'll get better every day. Chapter 3. These kinds of phrases help you sound more relaxed when you speak. Try practicing like this. It's sort of confusing. You know what I mean? That's how people speak when they're just talking casually. Another thing people often do in conversation is check something at the end of a sentence. They say little words like, right or isn't it? For example, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? Or you're coming to the party, right? These short questions help you confirm something, and they're used all the time. Try using them too. You can say something like, you finished the report, right? Or, this restaurant is great, isn't it? Sometimes, when you're busy or need to leave a conversation, you want to do it politely. In English, we often say things like, I've got to run, or I'm in a bit of a hurry. These are nice ways to end a conversation without sounding rude. Try practicing with, I'd love to chat more, but I've got to run. Let's talk soon. Or you could say, sorry, I'm in a bit of a hurry. Can we continue this later? There are also useful phrases for when you're not sure about something. You can say, I'm not sure, or let me check and get back to you. These work well at work or with friends. For example, if someone asks, are you free tomorrow? You can say, I'm not sure. Let me check my schedule. Or if they ask, do you know how to fix this? You could reply, I'm not sure, but I can find out. These kinds of answers help you sound polite and thoughtful. Now let's practice a short scene. Imagine you're at work. A co-worker walks by and says, hey, how's your day going? You say, not bad. A little busy, but I'm managing. Your co-worker says, same here. I've got a lot on my plate. You reply, yeah, I get it. It's been non-stop lately. Then you change the topic and say, by the way, did you finish the report? They say, almost. I'll send it by the end of the day. And you answer, perfect, no rush. Here's another scene. You meet a friend for coffee. You say, hi, long time no see. What's new? Your friend says, I just got a new job. You smile and say, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. They say, thanks. It's a bit challenging though. You reply, I know what you mean. Starting something new can be tough. They nod and say, exactly. Then you suggest something fun. So how about celebrating this weekend? They say, sounds good to me. Now let's go over some short replies people use every day. If someone says thank you, you can reply with no problem or anytime. If someone apologizes, you can say it's okay or no worries. When you're saying goodbye, use simple phrases like take care, see you around, or talk to you later. These are small but very common. The more you use them, the more natural your English will feel. To keep getting better, try practicing 5 to 10 of these phrases every day. You don't need anyone else. Just say them to yourself out loud. For example, you could say, I'm so glad you came. Or, could you please help me out? Or try, you should try that new place. Set a timer for 5 minutes and speak with energy and confidence. That kind of practice really helps. Let's do one more round of practice before we finish. I'll give you a situation, and you try to say the right phrase out loud. Situation 1. Your friend tells you something exciting. What do you say? Say something positive. Situation 2. You didn't hear what someone said. What do you say? Ask them to repeat. Situation 3. You need to leave the conversation politely. What do you say? Use a polite excuse. Situation 4. You're not sure about something. How do you respond? Say it nicely. Situation 5. Someone thanks you. What do you say? Reply naturally. Great job. When you practice like this, you start to build rhythm and confidence. Your speaking sounds more natural and fluent. Remember, the goal is not just to memorize the words, but to really use them in your life. Speak them at home, at work, even when you're just thinking to yourself. And that's the end of today's lesson. I hope you found these 50 useful phrases helpful, and that practicing them made you feel more confident. Learning a language isn't just about grammar. It's about making real connections with people. That happens when you practice often, speak often, and make English part of your everyday life. So keep going. Use these phrases in real situations. You've got this. Thanks so much for watching. And if you liked this lesson and want more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.